If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds your money. Sign up now. Get your double deposit bonus with promo code 1010XL, the best sign-up bonus for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, how does $3 Miller Lite sound? That is at the beach. That is at the Bricks. We get things started right now up until 8 o'clock. $3 Miller Lite pints at one of the great establishments right here throughout Duval. Last year we were here. It was a beautiful night out on the deck. A little bit chilly this evening, so we are indoors, but a phenomenal place, great restaurant, family oriented restaurant as well. Plenty of swinging singles out here. So we're just thrilled to be here for the next couple of hours. And you can register for tickets, thank you to Miller Lite, for the matchup coming up Sunday between your Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets. So come on by, say hello. Again, we're here till 8 o'clock right here on this Thursday night. Power Pack program. Tim Brando up in 20 minutes. We'll talk to Timmy B about Bill Belichick and UNC, and also his thoughts on how the world is a better place considering SMU is into the college football playoff and Alabama is not. All of that with Tim Brando at 6:20. Got to check the money. The Philly Godfather, right? Army, Navy this weekend. The Heisman. I am a Heisman Trophy voter. I wonder if the Philly Godfather is playing anything as far as that award is concerned. We know the four who are going, the two quarterbacks, and Gabriel and Ward from Oregon and Miami, respectively. Obviously, Hunter has been known as the big-time favorite for quite some time, but Genti has made a little bit of a run. A lot of people got an opportunity to see him play that exclusive matchup this past Friday night, and, of course, he has an opportunity to break Barry Sanders' record. I think he needs 132 yards to do that, and we do not know who Boise State's opponent will be. That'll all be determined coming up a week from tomorrow night, and then, of course, 3 games on Saturday as we get to what we are really anticipating, the first ever 12-team college football playoff. So it's great to have you with us. My name is Rick Ballou with you each and every night, 6 to 8. Jaguar news today. Evan Ingram, a second consecutive day where he did not practice. So, the shoulder is a concern, albeit yesterday Doug Peterson did say he expects Evan Ingram to be able to play on Sunday. You would hope he'll at least be able to be a part of the walkthrough on Friday, but not going today, not going yesterday. Also, since we all live in Trent Baalke's world, credit to Baalke. He got the deal done with Walker Little, right? Kind of surprised just about everyone. I mean, it's a general manager that so many people have on the cusp of being fired. I happen to believe that he is going to remain in charge for the 2025 season. I've said that for quite some time. As a matter of fact, Jordan Schultz doubled down on that a little bit earlier today. Trent Baalke went out and made the move to get Walker Little. Well, what does Denver do today? They signed what would have been the most attractive left tackle on the market in Garrett Bowles. So unless a big-time left tackle gets released, which could happen at the end of the year for maybe aging left tackles, or if some teams are strapped as far as the future salary cap is concerned, you could see a couple of left tackles who are available. But right now, there's nothing. That would have left the Jaguars their only option to address that in the April draft. Now that Walker Little is in, you have Anton Harrison will be beginning his third year in 2025 at right tackle. The bookend tackle positions are set for at least the next 2 years for Harrison, at least 3 more years now for Walker Little. Of course, the Jaguars also can exercise their right in a year to pick up the fifth-year option for Anton Harrison. So it's be interesting to see. I think that absolutely that's part of the plan. Didn't get off to a great start this year, did Harrison. He's played better football as of late. As a matter of fact, in our second hour, we're going to look at some data. Going to bring in our friend Daniel Griffiths to talk about quite a few things that are Jaguars-related, some good and bad numbers-wise, where this team is so far this year. As we continuously move forward, it's more and more and more about the numbers. And there's so many that you can now choose from. It's pretty, honestly, it's almost absurd in a lot of ways. But you can find exactly what it is that you're looking for. And I think you out there as the listener would agree with me that the most troubling part of this Jaguars football team is how they cannot start a game, especially on offense. They average 2.3 points a game in the first quarter. It is absolutely abysmal. You know it, and I know it. Okay, look at what Mac Jones has done the last 2 weeks. Mac Jones has thrown 3 touchdown passes and has had a field goal in 4 late fourth-quarter drives, right? One, they ended up falling short. The defense could not play complementary football. And, of course, last week, the field goal, then that very impressive drive with Brian Thomas Jr., a couple of carries by Travis Etienne, a couple of carries by Tank Bigsby, including the game-winning touchdown, yet they don't start that way. And it's got to be just so depressing for you or so aggravating for you to know that regardless of where this game is going to be played, and in this case it'll be at home, Sunday at 1 o'clock, you know in the first 15 minutes of football, Jacksonville's not going to score. And that is such a brutal situation to be a part of as a fan. It happens time and again and time and again. 18 consecutive games. They have not scored a touchdown on their opening drive. You cannot make that up. And Doug Peterson said, earlier in the week, this is not a 3-10 New York Jets type of defense. Doesn't matter what type of defense it is. Jacksonville's in a coma when the game begins. They cannot score. I mean, I'm with you. You'd like to be able to yell at them, right, and just say, wake up. Look at what you do in the fourth quarter. Why can't you do that early on? Doesn't matter if it's Trevor Lawrence. Doesn't matter if it's Mac Jones. They have just really struggled. So that's coming up a little bit later on in the program. Florida State got their quarterback. It was announced last night after we get off the air, and Thomas Castellanos. He is a guy that originally came in and played under Gus Malzahn at the University of Central Florida. It didn't work out for Castellanos there. He transferred to Boston College, did some good things at BC. Then all of a sudden, after the Syracuse game, Bill O'Brien benched him. He quit. So Florida State now is going to a 5'9" quarterback who is very mobile, who is used to the Gus Malzahn offensive system, but you're bringing in a quitter. You're also bringing in a quitter to play for a guy who is considered a very good play caller, but he gave up that responsibility this year when Central Florida went 4-8. You put all of that together, what does it mean? And we'll find out. It's only, 9 months away, Florida State football. I mean, sit back and relax. It's going to take a little bit until they get out on the football field. But, hey, say what you want about the Noles. You can Thomas Castellanos me. You can anyone you want to me. If you don't fix that offensive line, they'll never do anything. That offensive line has been awful for 10 years. Okay, you think it's mystifying that the Jaguars can't score on their opening drive in 18 consecutive games? Talk about going 10 years without being able to do anything with that offensive line. That has been the case in God's country. All right, opening comments tonight and every night brought to you by the good folks over at Shmunez Vision. At this particular time, I would like to introduce Dr. John Hunt. He is the newest member over at Shmunez Vision. He's a general ophthalmologist with, he's got subspecialty interest in oculoplastics, functional and cosmetic eyelid surgery. I mean, just by trying to pronounce these names, he's a very clever guy, and he can do some great things for your eyes. So he does join Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. Neil Shmunez. Well, no matter what it is that involves your eyes, they continuously add, and they're getting bigger, and they are getting better over at Shmunez Vision. If you need care for your eyes, and a lot of you just push it off, which I've never been able to understand, you need to check them out this afternoon or as we head into the night. Just go to Shmunez Vision for all of the details, or you can check them out as well on Instagram at Shmunez Vision. All right, too much to do tonight. Way, way, way too much to do tonight. Frankly, not enough time to do it. Let's begin by bringing in Tim Brando. Let's talk some college football with Fox Sports' Timmy B. Come on out and say hello. We're at the Bricks here on 3rd Street. At Jacksonville Beach, and you can register to win tickets from Miller Lite for the game Sunday between the Jaguars and the Jets. We also have $3 Miller Lite pints. So come on out to the Bricks. We're with you tonight till 8 o'clock.
This is the playmaker and 3-time Super Bowl champion, Michael Irvin. And you are listening to 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Superstation.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Pick it here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
If you're buying gifts for family and friends, check out the 1010XL Holiday Gift Guide with ideas from
St. Nicholas Gun and Range,
FOCO, Fans Only,
and the spa at Marriott Sawgrass.
Start shopping and saving at 1010XL.com.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Have a group trip or company function soon? Mark Watson here with Hardball Creative. Get busy ordering the t-shirts and other swag you'll need. It's easy with Hardball.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
My name's Jim. I'm 53 years old. There should be options in life, like ways to lose weight. Medications now feel like the only option. I mean, it sounds like a guarantee. I do have friends who have lost weight with them. I tried holding off. I did other diets, but I was miserable. I'd rather be fat and happy. The problem was I wasn't happy fat. I was about to start the meds, but then I heard of Awaken 180's GLP-1 program. Turned out it does the same thing as the meds without injecting myself for life. It absolutely worked. I dropped 45 pounds. I'm now in maintenance, and I feel better than my friends who are still on the meds. Listen, I barely know what GLP-1 is. What I do know is Awaken 180 worked for me, and I was far from miserable doing it.
Thanks, Jim. You all know our success with Awaken 180, and now with Awaken 180's GLP-1 Balance, you address the root causes of weight issues. Do it naturally, then keep it off. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Our most popular meat combo is ready to grill this season. Pounds and pounds of marinated steak tips and chicken, fresh ground beef, and homemade sausage. Just ask for the sampler combo.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
Hey, it's Tony from Tony D's Pizza. If you love our pizza and pasta dishes, let us cater an event for you. Family function or office parties, we can deliver you an amazing Italian meal. Remember, it's not just pizza at Tony D's. Bay Meadows and $2.95.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
All right, what a night out here at the beach. We are live from the Bricks. Going to be here until 8 o'clock. Miller Lite sponsoring our party. We have $3 Miller Lite pints. What more could you ask for? And we got a couple of tickets you can register to win. Come on by, say hello, to get 2 tickets for the game Sunday between the Jaguars and the Jets. Let's bring in our buddy Tim Brando. Time for our weekly conversation. Timmy B, always a pleasure.
Back at you, Rick. Merry Christmas. Meli Kalikimaka. All the above, right?
Yeah.
Hope things are going well for you there.
Things are perfect here. Let's begin with the youth movement at North Carolina. Out is 73-year-old Mac Brown. In is 72-year-old Bill Belichick. This rumor had been out there for almost a week. I'm still really surprised that this took place. What were your emotions when you knew it was a done deal?
Well, like everybody else, when I first heard about it, I was like, really? Really? I had that kind of reaction when I first heard the story. But then as time marched on and the story didn't go away, it appeared to be, legit. And I started thinking about it, and then feeling a little bit like what this means from the standpoint of being that age, being 72, being 73, and then, that this might be the last, time that somebody says, hey, we want you, after you let them know. And I do believe what happened here was he knew he was not going to be going back to the NFL, but he still wanted to coach. I really believe that. I don't know it, but I really believe it. I strongly believe it. Mm-hmm. And I also believe that his people let a lot of people in college football know of his interest. And that's when North Carolina jumped on it. And in a lot of ways, I think that the success of Deion Sanders at Colorado is probably what precipitated North Carolina's interest in bringing someone like Belichick into the fold, somebody that is going to need a general manager, somebody that's going to want to have a player personnel guy that's going to run the outfit like an NFL franchise. In a lot of ways, that's what Nick Saban did when he came to LSU, and it's certainly what he did at Alabama. Now, they had no portal, they had no NIL, but he ran the organization of college football much like a NFL organization would be run, which was what? A blueprint of Bill Belichick's approach. And look what it did for Alabama. Look what it did really for LSU when he was there. And he had the most successful run of anybody in the history of the game. So, to me, it's an absolute no-brainer if you're North Carolina and you want to make that commitment. And based on the numbers that I'm reading in the last few hours since they've come out, the commitment is heavy-duty and one that could change the paradigm of all of college football as it relates to coaching searches for the foreseeable future. Mm-hmm. I think I've met him on several occasions. I don't do NFL games regularly, as you know, but I've been in that world more than just a few times. And when I've met him at the occasions, whether they were at Super Bowls or when I was doing preseason games for the Saints, and I did that for 11 years, or for the Carolina Panthers, which I did for a couple of years in the mid-'90s when Don Capers and that organization was built in their first couple of seasons, I did games involving the Patriots and the Saints, or the Patriots and the Panthers, and I would go down to the field before the game, and he would approach me before I would approach him. Mm-hmm. There's a side of his personality that a lot of people don't realize, don't understand exists. He's just such a huge fan of the game of football, and because I'm up in years myself, I'm 68 now. We'll soon be 69 in February. He was acquainted with my work all the way through, mostly on college, and he loves college football. He watched it a ton. He was the son of a coach at Navy who was on Lee Corso's staff and worked with Lee at Navy when they were both assistant coaches, and that was before Lee went to Indiana. So we shared conversations a lot about just all things college before a preseason game that I might be calling involving the Patriots.
Right.
So, all forms of football, this guy's all over. He absolutely eats it up, chews it up, spits it out. He's one of those guys. And I think being out of the profession for a calendar year was about all he could stand. He needed to get back in. When it became clear to him that the NFL, for whatever reason, the owners just didn't want to take on having a Bill Belichick there for whatever, Bill and his entourage might bring to the organization, then he took a look at and said, okay, where can I land in college? Who would most want to have me? And that's close to home. The Carolinas is where the guy grew up. So it makes sense to me. It does. And a lot of people, as you know, today are taking pot shots about the hire and are saying, oh my God, he might wind up doing the nincompoop Pop-Tarts bowl game. Hard to think he might be doing that. Most of these people are in their 20s and 30s, and they're on big platforms, and they think they're somebody when they make snide remarks about someone like Bill Belichick. But I'm here to tell you that's a generational issue that the young people have to get over. You can still be in your late 60s and early 70s and have a great passion for what you do. I know I feel that way about what I do, Rick, and I'm serious about it. I don't take myself too seriously, but I damn sure take my job seriously. And I love it now more than I ever have. And people keep trying to usher me to the retirement door, and I feel like I've got a lot of tread left on my tires. And people that are close to me, that my family and my really close personal friends are always, Tim, you've never been better. And I don't think they're just telling me that because they think that's what I want to hear. Your good friends will tell you what you really don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And at some point, if I begin to slip, my closest friends will tell me, and I'll know it's time to get out. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that the people, the circle around Bill Belichick have been saying to him, well, if you want to coach, get back in, do it. Why not? And so he did. And I think it could be big. I think it could be huge. And even if he fails, for those of us that cover college football and for those of us that are just entertained by watching these stories play out, my God, what kind of entertainment will that bring? What kind of interest will that bring? So regardless of how it ends for him, I think we'll all be entertained by watching it all transpire. And I think chances are it'll end very well for both North Carolina and for Bill Belichick.
Tim Brando, our guest, Fox Sports, joining Rick Ballou. We're live from the Bricks. Come on out at the beach. $3 Miller Lite pints. Also register to win tickets for the game Sunday between the Jaguars and the Jets. This is fascinating to me because, in my opinion, North Carolina remains the flagship of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Even though it is a basketball school, they've had some runs before in football, but they've never really been able to complete the process. It's a very winnable conference, Tim. I mean,
for a while,
they've always scored. Their problem has been defense. Now you bring in a defensive-minded guy. It's going to take a little bit of time, but, I mean, what do you think 2-3 years down the road about a Belichick-led North Carolina team?
I don't think it's going to take that much time. I really don't. I mean, if you had said Deion Sanders would have his quarterback, on the precipice of being the first pick in the NFL draft, and he'd have a defensive back / wide receiver that would be a Heisman finalist, if not the Heisman winner. Mm-hmm. If you had said that 2 years ago, would you have believed it?
No.
No. I mean, they were one game away from going to the college football playoff. They were one win away. In theory, I mean, they were. If things had worked out for them, they could have gone and been playing for the Big 12 championship last week. And I think that success that Sanders had is part and parcel of North Carolina's interest. I'm not saying it had anything to do with Bill Belichick being interested. I think it does have something to do with why North Carolina seriously took a look at it and decided to move on it. The other thing that comes to my mind as it relates to being at this stage of your life and being a head coach at North Carolina, think about the history at that place, okay? They last won an ACC championship in 1980. Can you name the coach? Dick Crum. Dick Crum was the last coach to win an ACC title. Steve Spurrier won one at Duke in 89. So
I was going to say Carl Torbush, by the way. I was going to say Carl Torbush.
Yeah. Well, Torbush had a little bit of success.
I know.
And so did Mack, obviously. Mack won 10 games in his first time there. Before going to Texas. And I think one of the reasons why North Carolina brought him back was because they thought he could rekindle the magic, and it just didn't happen. I don't know if it was staff-related or just the way the game had changed and Mac's inability to have the kind of defensive coach and personnel from a recruiting standpoint to match the coaching that he might get. He had Gene Chizik a couple of times, and Gene's a good defensive coach. And some of his best teams were with Gene as his DC. But the reality is North Carolina is a starved and probably classic sleeping giant in college football from an ACC standpoint. And when you talk to people of other conferences, okay, in this day and time of realignment, whenever there's discussion about your Florida State Seminoles or the Clemson Tigers or said team from the ACC that maybe the Big Ten would be interested in, okay? The team that always pops up first when you're talking to those people? North Carolina.
Right.
It's North Carolina that's the most wanted team, most wanted program from the ACC by other conferences. I even think the SEC, if they were to expand, and I don't think they want to necessarily, but if you said to Greg Sankey in a private room without consequences, if there was one team you could get your hands on out of another league, who would it be? I think he'd say North Carolina. I really do, because of the size of the institution, the history that it has, both academically and athletically. And you say, yeah, but most of that's basketball. Yeah, but there are a lot of other areas too where they've been successful that maybe you don't know about. Okay, but football has always underachieved when you consider the tools and the financial pluses there. They had no problem coming up with $10 million annually for him. No problem. They had no problem finding another $5 or $6 million to take care of their player personnel and general manager, which Michael Lombardi is going to be the guy. Not a bad guy to get, okay? And then you add to that a staff that they'll come up with another, $5 to $6 million for, so he can adequately go out and get the right, defensive and offensive coordinators to work with him. This is going to be like an NFL reunion played with a lot of great house money at the collegiate level. And I think North Carolina could be within 2 years an ACC champion and a college football playoff team. In today's environment, with the portal and with NIL, and an organization now being run by Bill Belichick, there's no doubt in my mind it could be done. If Kurt Signetti could do it in Indiana in 1 year's time, then I think Bill Belichick, with all the revenue that he's got to work with, and with the infrastructure at North Carolina being what it is versus what Indiana's is, there's no doubt in my mind he can do it within a couple of years.
Tim, I think the college football committee, playoff committee, I think they got it right. SMU in, Alabama out.
Yeah, and I was happily shocked. I sat here and told you that the screw job of Miami, just like the screw job of Florida State a year ago, it would be the same for SMU, and I was wrong. I give Ward Manuel and that group a lot of credit for at least, hey, they stayed up long enough to see, Rhett Lashley's team make a comeback. And Kevin Jennings can play. That's a great quarterback. Listen, they could go into Penn State and win. I'm not saying they will win, but I'm telling you that I think they could. And I certainly like the betting spread with SMU against Penn State. I do. And I think we're going to see a lot of upsets, Rick. Tennessee, in my mind, is the perfect matchup for going into Columbus and getting a win.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see upsets across the board. And in my mind, Clemson is a dangerous team for Texas to play. Mm-hmm. And regardless of who wins that game between Clemson and Texas, I think Arizona State is going to take them to the woodshed. They're the hottest team in football right now.
Yeah. Very
there's a lot
yeah.
going on, man. And listen, the seedings are wrong. And so if you hear a pundit talking about that the road for Oregon is much too difficult given the season they had and the poor seeding. But that's something that the committee had to work with. That was done to them by the rules that were set up by, the people in charge who should have consulted with basketball about the differences between a team's ranking and a team's seeding. Just because you win a conference outright doesn't mean you deserve to be seeded and get a bye. Okay, that's just fundamentally wrong. Oregon does have a more difficult plight than, say, Penn State does, and Penn State lost the Big Ten championship to them. But I would also argue that right now, some of those teams that aren't ranked as highly as the others are playing better football right now than, say, for instance, Ohio State. Or Georgia without a Carson Beck. I think those teams are vulnerable. They are. So this thing's going to be so much fun to watch. I can't wait to talk to you next week about them as we get closer and we begin to grind them because, we could see tremendous upheaval in the way this thing plays out. I am for going to 16, but I also want this thing to percolate for a while at 12, and let's see how it does, how well it goes, how well it's accepted. But, if we went to 16, Rick, all those people bitching wouldn't have anything to bitch about. They'd all be in. South Carolina, Ole Miss, Alabama, Miami, they'd all be in. Okay? I do think they will go to 16 because they need the revenue, they need the money for inventory because that $2.5 billion lawsuit that the NCAA lost, it means that the NCAA is going to collect all this cash to pay these athletes, and that means the schools have to pay more money. So whatever they're making from Fox and ESPN, it's still not enough. They got to get more. And the only way to get more is by having greater inventory in the CFP.
So we'll look at that next Thursday night. I got a minute remaining. This was great. You've been on Greg Sankey. You've been on Kirby Smart. Kirby calling out Greg Sankey right in front of him at the podium. I mean, how incredible was that?
Unreal, isn't it? It's like, when you are insulated from any kind of hammer that could ever come down when you're winning. Am I right?
No doubt.
I mean, the level of arrogance to do that. And listen, it may have been tongue in cheek, but it didn't sound that way.
No way.
It didn't land that way at all. And look, Sankey did what he felt he needed to do with the changes that have been made, moving away from the divisions and only having 8 conference games. They'd already lied about going to 9, so he at least had to make sure that teams like Georgia were playing bigger games that the networks were paying bigger dollars for. And so, they had a tougher schedule than Missouri. They had a tougher schedule than a lot of teams in the SEC. They had a tougher schedule than Ole Miss. But, my goodness. I mean, he took Pompous to another level to do that right in front of Sankey. It kind of reminded me of Al Davis with Pete Rozelle after they won the Super Bowl in 1980.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. Like, I'll take your trophy. Now, let me tell you something.
Yeah. No doubt. All right, Timmy B, what do you got? What do you got coming up this weekend?
Well, I'm flying off to New Jersey in the morning. We've got in Piscataway, we've got a Rutgers team that has really a couple of outstanding freshmen. They've struggled a little bit at the outset, but they are a real factor in the Big Ten this year. They're playing Seton Hall. So we got a Jersey matchup between the Hall and Rutgers on Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern, right after the Tennessee-Illinois game, I think, that precedes us in hoops. And then a week from Friday, I'll be in Providence, Rhode Island, when Rick Pitino takes his Johnnies back to where he won a Final Four opportunity for Billy Donovan and Billy the Kid days in 1987. Providence and St. John's. That's a Friday night game. If you so desire, during the commercials of the Notre Dame Indiana game. So you can tune in and catch me doing some round ball.
Tim, always a lot of fun. Really, already getting excited about next Thursday night. We'll be able to talk about these playoff games. Have a great call this weekend, and we'll do it then.
You got it, pal. Take care.
There he goes, Tim Brando of Fox Sports, giving us the very latest on quite a few things that are going on in the world of college football. All right, we do invite you to come on by if you'd like to say hello. We are at the Bricks. We have $3 Miller Lite pints. Also, some Miller Lite swag. You can come by to register to get a couple of tickets for the game Sunday between the Jets and, of course, your hometown Jaguars. That is compliments of as well of Miller Lite. Coming up next, let's take a look at things from a gaming perspective. We bring in the Philly Godfather.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle. It's the time of year all our customers love. At Garber Auto Mall, every 2024 must go. Take advantage of thousands in discounts on all new Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Ford. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle. Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Want to be up close and personal with the Jaguars as they take the field? Here's your chance to be in the shadows, outside the Jaguars locker room, now called the Vault. Enter today at everbank.com/shadows. One winner and a guest for every home game at Everbank Stadium. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry periods for the Shadow Sweepstakes promotion from 8/19/24 to 12/15/24. For official rules and complete details, visit everbank.com/shadows. Sponsored administrator, Everbank NA, member FDIC.
This is Chelsea with Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Here's what people are saying about working with us.
Installers were professional, courteous, and efficient.
Great customer service. On time, explained the process, and walked me through the installation. Amazing team.
Our experience with Renewal by Anderson was outstanding from beginning to end.
Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com.
License number CGC 1527613.
Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 12, 1965, Chicago Bears halfback Gal Sayers ties the NFL record for most touchdowns in a game with 6 in the Bears' victory over the 49ers.
The Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa is the perfect place for indulging in a pampering spa treatment. This holiday season, give the gift of wellness with a gift card and take advantage of the spa's current promotion. With the purchase of a $75 gift card or more, guests get a credit towards a future service. With healing massages, revitalizing facial treatments, and more, a day at the Sawgrass Spa makes the perfect gift. Purchase in person at Sawgrass Spa during operating hours.
This holiday season, give the gift of comfort and joy. Comfort food and the joy that comes with digging into a huge plate of diner favorites from Metro Diner. And to make things even more merry, now through the end of the year, they're adding on a $10 bonus card with every $50 spent on gift cards. Metro Diner gift cards are the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Friends, family, or coworkers. Stop by the diner or metrodiner.com and get all your gift shopping done easily. Happy holidays from Metro Diner.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. No matter the weather, Triumph has an unbelievable selection of rides where you can get out and just enjoy the highway.
They do. The new Rocket is out with the new color schemes, the Tiger 1200, which has been revamped. These bikes are nice, gorgeous, and ready to ride.
And if you want to take a look at the selection, they can just roll into the showroom and see a full variety.
We've got them all in stock and ready to go.
So if you log on, cyclesofjacksonville.com, search the Triumph line, and then head into the showroom, you'll be impressed. Cycles of Jacksonville.
Icebreakers Bar and Grill in the Community First Igloo is the coolest place in town for lunch and dinner. Watch the game with a wide selection of local beers, cocktails, wings, burgers, ribs, and more. Enjoy with family and friends at Emerson and I-95.
You've worked hard to have nice things. Protect and enjoy them with a luxury storage unit at The Shed, opening soon in Atlantic Beach. You got to see these places to believe them. What a smart investment out at AB. I can take 10 minutes, but I can't tell you everything. Go to theshedjacks.com or take a tour on Instagram.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, dill ball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
Jacksonville contractors and business owners, do you need custom large metal fab gates or automatic gate controls? Frank Frangie here. Coyle & Sons has been in business in Jacksonville since 1927. They've earned the reputation of quality and specialized skill. Coyle & Sons are the ones trusted in Jacksonville by the top contractors, and they stand on their reputation when you need almost 100 years of commercial contractor experience. So call Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821, coiljacks.com.
What is the world's largest freshwater lake? The answer next.
How long has it been since you compared homeowners' insurance rates? Log on to southernoak.com to get an instant quote or find an agent near you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Lake Superior has enough water to cover North and South America combined. It is the world's largest freshwater lake.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Let's head to Philadelphia. He's the man. He's the one, the only. He is the Philly Godfather, and he joins Rick Ballou as we go into the night. Philly, how you been?
Getting a little chilly out here in Philly, but there's so much action going on. Everything stays red hot. You got NFL tonight, college basketball, NBA. We got college football. It's going to be a great week.
Tell you what, it's getting a little chilly down here in Duval. I mean, this is unkind. I moved down here 30 years ago for warm weather, so we need that to turn around, no doubt. Hey, before we get to the Army-Navy game, did you do anything with the Heisman Trophy?
I had Cam Ward at 15-1,
okay.
And he's not going to get it. Travis Hunter's going to get the award. He's the odds-on favorite now. And when he was at 28-1, I wanted to nibble on him a little bit, but Miami was rolling so hard, I just decided to roll with Cam Ward. And even though he had a great season, it's Travis Hunter's trophy this year.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. That'll be coming up on Saturday night. Let's get to the game of the year for so many people, including right here in Jacksonville, a huge military town, Navy town, Army-Navy. What do you make of this game coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, originally the line opened up on this game. Army was -4.5, but it quickly shot up to -7 before there was some resistance in the sports betting market, which pushed it back down to 6.5. So as of right now, the Black Knights are 6.5-point favorites. There are a couple floaters, a couple sevens out there. There's also been some movement on the total. It's dropped 2 points from 41 to 39. 8 out of the last 10 years, I think the game has stayed under the posted total. When it comes to the bet splits, I talked to my friends out in Vegas and offshore, and they're really heavily tilted with Army action right now. Right now, about 8 out of every 10 tickets placed is on Army, and about 90% of the overall money being bet on the game is on them as well. When it comes to handicapping the game, I mean, it's hard to see Army lose here. They've covered the Vegas number about 73% of the time this season. And other than their blowout loss to Notre Dame, they've beaten their opponents by an average of 22 points per game. And when you look at the common opponents, both teams got blown out by the Fighting Irish, but Army did beat Tulane and Rice this year, while Navy lost to both teams in ugly fashion. But it's all about the price. And over the last decade, 8 of the last 10 winners of the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy have won by 7 points or less. I want to roll with Navy here, +7. I mean, the midshipmen, they don't make too many mistakes. They're ranked 21st in turnover margin. And on paper, both teams' metrics when it comes to yards per play on offense and opponent yards per play on defense are almost identical. So give me 7 points with the dog. It's going to be a close game, right?
Interesting turnover margin. I wasn't aware of that. I know that both these schools really struggled with turnovers in those Notre Dame games. Notre Dame was among leaders in college football this year as far as the turnover takeaway ratio. Let's go to Sunday right there in Philadelphia. What do you make of the Steelers and the Eagles?
Yeah, all of a sudden it appears like the Eagles got big problems in the locker room. Brandon Graham came out and said, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown are having some beef. And it's not the right time of the season for this kind of stuff to be happening, especially against a team like the Steelers this weekend. The price on the game, I'm kind of shocked. I mean, they made the Eagles a 5-point favorite at home. I think that's too many points there. I mean, the Eagles' defense, it might be the best in the NFL, but the Steelers aren't far behind. And offensively, Philly averages about a half yard more per play. But since Russell Wilson has taken over at the quarterback position, I mean, Mike Tomlin's team is averaging more than 28 points per game. So this Steelers team isn't just a defensive juggernaut. They're really good on offense as well. And I like the Steelers here. It's the healthiest they've been all year. I really think it's a field goal game. And to be honest, if Pittsburgh won outright, I wouldn't be shocked. It's hard to win 10 in a row in the NFL. And for the Eagles to do that, they're going to have to beat a really good Steelers team who have the fifth best odds to win the Super Bowl. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Pittsburgh getting the 5 points there. The Philly Godfather likes the points here against the Philadelphia Eagles. Throw out your information out there, Philly Godfather, for our listeners.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Philly Godfather, and the website is thephillygodfather.com.
Another huge game coming up this Sunday is Buffalo and Detroit. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I got futures before the season started on the Lions at 13-1, but I kind of like Buffalo here to bounce back, coming off that loss to the Rams. I don't even think you're going to need the 2.5 points. I think Buffalo wins the game. Detroit's really banged up on offense and defense. The Bills have a +15 health score better than the Lions heading into Sunday. Both teams offensively ranked number 1 and 2 in scoring, and the yards per play metric is almost identical. I mean, the defensive metrics are almost exactly the same as well. The Bills also have 5 less giveaways on the year and have a much better turnover differential on the season. I like the Bills +2.5 and +125.
Interesting. +125 on the money line. Okay. And let's wrap it up with the game right here. Aaron Rodgers and the 3-10 Jets against the 3-10 Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, this really, I mean, it's not a game I'm rushing out to bet. Both teams, you know what I mean, Rick? It's a tough game.
Don't bet on two bad teams is what you're saying. I got you. All right.
Yeah, but you know what? Regardless of, the Jags, what are they, 3-10? They've covered the spread in 7 of the 12 games this year. I think they got to push. So they've actually made people money while the Jets have only covered the spread, I think, like 30% of the time. It's just that the Jags haven't been scoring. I think they've put up 10 points or less in 3 of the last 4 games, while the Jets have been putting up some points. They got a combined 74 points scored in the last 3 games. And it's hard to see this version of the Jags offense beat a Jets team that has posted the 6th or 7th most sacks in the league. Mac Jones has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns since Lawrence has gotten hurt. And I think over recent play over the last 3 games, offensively, the Jags' yards per play metric is the 4th lowest in the entire league. I would love to take the points with the dog at home, but I just can't do it here. I guess I lean Jets -3. But again, I'm not rushing to bet.
Yeah, makes sense. I don't blame you. All right, Philly Godfather, once again for our listeners, please give them your information.
Yeah, you can follow me on X at Philly Godfather. The website's thephillygodfather.com, and every Thursday night at 6:45 p.m. on the best radio show on the planet.
Ah, what an honor. Have a great weekend, Philly Godfather. Best of luck in all your plays.
Good luck, guys.
There he goes, Philly Godfather. Playing some dogs this week. Navy +7, Pittsburgh against Philly +5, taking the Steelers. Buffalo +2.5 in Detroit. Also going to play the money line +125. Pick him to win outright, and he is taking the Jets over the Jags, laying the 3 points coming up here Sunday at 1. Hey, you can come by the Bricks right now and register to win tickets for that game. It's all compliments of Miller Lite. Okay, we have Miller Lite swag that is here. We also have $3 Miller Lite pints. We'd love for you to come on by and say hello. 3rd Street at the beach. It is the Bricks, and we're getting set for 1 other hour. All right, quick bit of information before we hit to the top of the hour. I don't have access to the text line tonight. I just do not. So I always try to respond to you. I will be back in the studio tomorrow night. We'll get back to our regular situation, but that is not happening here tonight. If you want to get a hold of me, your best bet is on Twitter or X. That is Ballou1010XL. Let's get into some Jaguar talk in our final hour. That'll include Daniel Griffiths at 7:20, our data guy. He's going to give us the very latest on some very important key numbers with the Jaguars. That is all part of our second hour, which is coming up right now.
One of the keys to victories is to know your opponent well.
Best thing I can do is point you in the direction of his competition.
Get insights and interviews from Jags beat reporter Hayes Carline when he takes you behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you heard? Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet are aiming to sell 1,000 vehicles this December. How? I've told my team to take all reasonable offers. We won't lose your business over price. With thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs on the ground, all priced to sell, we guarantee the most money for your trade and the easiest car buying experience ever. I promise we ain't leaving nothing on the table. This is the absolute last weekend. Visit Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
Mueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a professional stamp licker from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Martin Celery.
Oh, gosh. I can't wait to play, Bob.
Well, let's move things along. Tell him what he's won, Johnny.
Wait, but
That's right, Marty.
At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we've stocked up on the remaining inventory of low-cost 2024 model air conditioners, so you win. We're passing the savings on to you.
Can I answer a question first?
We need to make room for the 25s, so we're offering great deals on AC replacements while supplies last.
Could I spin the wheel at least? I've been practicing for a year.
With last-minute deals like this, there's no question that you are cool.
What do I tell my kids?
There you go. Have a souvenir t-shirt.
Thanks.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
The 12 Days of Christmas is back and better than ever at Best Bet Jacksonville. From December 12th to the 23rd, we're lighting up the tables with our much-anticipated High Hands promotion, giving away over $330,000 in cash and prizes. The excitement continues to grow each day, starting at $1,200 and climbing up to $2,300, and the chance to set sail on a card player poker cruise. Explore all the excitement at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
You've got a circle of friends, right? Well, how about a circle of beer? All your favorites like Bud Light, Bud Heavy, Mick Ultra, or Natty Light. It's all there in the cold case at Circle K. Probably one right around the corner right now calling your name. Slide on in to a Circle K.
Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. Friday, April 11th, the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Performing songs from their latest album, Weather Vanes. Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. On sale Friday, December 13th at 10 a.m. at theamp.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 47th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget, and with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, open 7 days a week in December.
Packer here, coming in at 205 pounds, night and day, thanks to Awaken 180. Guys, gals, the program is simple without needing to take injections for life. The clear choice and the choice of all of us. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Southampton invites you to enjoy a round of golf and then a round with your buds, thanks to their game day special. Every Saturday and Sunday during the season, order up 10 wings and a cold pitcher for just $22. Plus, being a member at Southampton has its privileges, like a $500 gift card when you join with a paid initiation fee. All the details are at golfsouthampton.com. Twilight golf every day with special rates after 3 o'clock. Don't forget trivia Thursday nights and music on the patio Friday night. All at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Kuhn Flowers invites you to join their Spread the Joy gift drive, supporting families here in Florida impacted by the recent hurricanes. They're accepting new and unwrapped toys, gifts, or monetary donations. Visit KuhnFlowers.com to find out more.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about being a peacemaker. Friends, so often we can only want to help people who are in our inner circle. But God never had inner circles. The world was his inner circle, and he's depending on us to make a difference and to leave our mark in this life. So go out today receiving his peace and then sharing it with the world.
To hear more inspirational messages by Reverend Dr. Nicholas Lowe, please visit our website at stjohnthedivine.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, thanks to Miller Lite. We're live at the Bricks, 3rd Street, the beach. No place I'd rather be. You kidding me? It has changed from a year ago, though. I remember last year when we were here, we were outside. It was beautiful. A little chilly here tonight, so we moved it indoors, but plenty of televisions, fantastic restaurant, and How does $3 Miller Lite pint sound? That's what we have for you this hour. So come on by. I got Miller Lite swag. You can also register to win tickets for the game on Sunday between the Jaguars and the Jets. All compliments of the good folks at Miller Lite. All right, Daniel Griffiths is going to join me in about 17 minutes. Look at the Jaguars, kind of data-wise. Some things that they have done well, some things that they are not doing well. And, I think that's the one part of all of this that is going to be just fascinating during the offseason. There's talent on this team. They're not coached well. There's talent here. And whoever replaces Doug Peterson, you're coming into a situation where I think you can win immediately. So we'll do that with Daniel Griffiths. That's coming up in just a little bit. Staying with the Jaguars, I've had a lot of people, a lot of listeners, and just Jaguar fans reach out to me today because Jordan Schultz, who I'm getting ready to have on in the very near future, it could be tomorrow, if not early next week. I text back and forth with Jordan all the time. And, I have been one who has said forever that I do not think Trent Baalke is going anywhere. Okay? It's just what I have come up with based on people I have spoken with, and also it is how I feel. And it's a very unpopular opinion, okay? And I will also say, I hope I'm wrong. This isn't an ego deal where I can pat myself on the back and say, see, I told you, I'm the only one who said that. No. That's irrelevant. I want what is best for you. I want what's best for business, what's best for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with Bill Belichick gone, if you can't get Ben Johnson in here, who knows where you're going to go? I mean, who's it really going to be? Are you going to tell me it's Joe Brady? Are you going to tell me it's Cliff Kingsbury? Are you going to tell me it's Todd Monken?
Mike Vrabel?
Are you going to tell me it's Mike Vrabel? It's Aaron Glenn? We don't know, okay? And three of those coaches would be brand new to this thing. First-time coordinators getting an opportunity. And I also think, even though with Belichick in Carolina, I'm 100% in on this Ben Johnson thing, okay? I am. But we still don't know if he can coach. We still don't know if he is going to be a great head coach. Anyway, Jordan Schultz, and he is with Fox, he doubled down on this earlier today on the Cowherd Show. This is what he said about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think Bill was right when he thought that Jacksonville could be a good job because the owner would allow you a lot of control. Now, I don't believe they're going to move on from Trent Baalke, the GM. I think they're going to keep him.
That's problematic for me.
That's a big problem. And a lot of teams don't understand that. But Trent has buddied up in a way that is commendable to Tony Khan and Shad Khan. He's indispensable to them. I don't think he's going to get fired. Doug Peterson will not be there after the year.
So there you go. There's someone else, and that's a member of the national media who obviously is connected, and that is his belief. Haven't heard that in a lot of circles. I have believed this forever. It's frightening. It is. And I can't imagine what you are going through as a Jaguar fan. This must be painful because I saw what happened on Sunday when you won a game, okay? It was your first come-from-behind win. You were, 0 for your last? I think it was 17 when you were trailing at half. You were only down 3-0. You came from behind. You won that football game. And my timeline went nuts. Half the people are like, you're idiots for wanting to win. You want to draft first. You want to blow this entire operation up. Others are like, screw that. You win. You've lost 5 in a row. You need to play to win a football game. And they did that. But where you're at right now is if they knock off the Jets, right, and they go out to Vegas and knock off the Raiders, who right now would select number 1 in the NFL draft. If you take on and beat Tennessee again, if you defeat Indianapolis, which is really the only team of respectability that you can mention out of the out of the 4 teams that are remaining, it's a pretty scary process. But I can't imagine what it must be like for you thinking, if you're going to go to the game on Sunday, right, you're not going to go and hope that they lose, are you? Do you have that in you? You're spending that amount of money for tickets. You're going to spend that amount of money for beer and food and all of the entertainment, and you're going to openly root for this team to lose. I know there are those who are rooting for them to lose, but don't you sit at home? Or don't you go to a bar and do things along those lines? It's a little bit easier. And I also believe that the way that you are conditioned, that even if you tell yourself Monday through Sunday morning that you want the team to lose, once you get a couple of Miller Lights in you, once you get the emotions of the ball game in you, if the team is driving, and again, Mac Jones hands the ball to Tank Bigsby and he takes it in for a touchdown, you're going to find yourself cheering. I mean, that's your team. So this becomes a brutal part of it all. And, again, I do feel for you. I don't know what to tell you. I think best possibility of Trent Baalke not being here would be for the Jaguars to lose their next 4 games. And, frankly, in some of them, look as though they're not playing hard. This team continues to play hard. They're coming off of their best defensive performance of the season. How can you not root for Ventrell Miller? For crying out loud, he needs more than 18 snaps. I was really disappointed by that. I'm going to ask Daniel Griffiths about that coming up as well. Mason Smith has played his best football of the year in the last 2 weeks. Look at what Jerrion Jones did. He had a sack. He had a couple of pass breakups. You're still getting really good performances out of Josh Hines-Allen and certainly Trayvon Walker. Tyson Campbell is playing. So you got some bright spots. You've got a starting point here. No matter who comes in as the head coach, there's talent on this team. You just need the best offensive mind available to obviously work with Trevor Lawrence. So we're going to do that coming up here in just a couple of minutes with our buddy Daniel Griffiths. A couple of other news and notes that you may not be aware of. How about Dan Mullen getting back into it? After a short stint at ESPN, he will now go to UNLV. Okay. I kind of thought Dan Mullen had North Carolina written all over him. That would have been my choice. I kind of envisioned that before the Bill Belichick situation did happen. So Mullen going way out west to UNLV. Again, we did mention it earlier in the program. If you've been away and you did not hear, Florida State gets Thomas Castellanos to be their next quarterback. And, again, he did work previously in his career at the University of Central Florida with Gus Malzahn before he transferred to Boston College. So Castellanos is going to be the QB for Florida State. Also, Omar Graham announced today that he's pulling himself out of the transfer portal. I have a couple of thoughts about this. The blueprint says that's not good because we saw what happened last year when DJ Lundy was on his way to Colorado. He pulled out. Darrell Jackson wanted more money, did threaten to go into the transfer portal. Patrick Payton put himself in the transfer portal. Those 3 all got paid. Frankly, they got way overpaid. And what do they have in common? They sucked this year. Darrell Jackson came on late, but he did not have a good year. And he's now going into the NFL draft. Patrick Payton was on a milk carton the entire season. I mean, I thought that guy 2 years ago would follow Jared Verse and be a first-round draft pick. He's probably going to transfer, and he's going to go someplace, and he may have a good year. All it takes is for someone to get to Patrick Payton and motivate him. Motivate him to not take plays off, to play hard. He didn't play hard. I don't care what type of Florida State fan you are. If you are even the slightest bit objective about his play, you saw that this guy did not give effort. And it's awful. And then DJ Lundy just got hurt very early on. I will add this, though. One thing with Omar Graham. If you look at the guys that have announced, I'm still upset about Luke Kromenhoek. Very upset about that. Okay? And he's apparently going to visit Mississippi State. Come on, Luke. You got to do better than Mississippi. I mean, you talk about a death sentence. No one's going to win at Mississippi State. You're going to be a bottom feeder in the SEC. I hope there's a more attractive offer coming for Luke Kromenhoek than Mississippi State. But if you look at all the guys who went and announced that they're entering the transfer portal, I have 16 players here. The only one that really, in my opinion, they would have missed, not named Luke Kromenhoek, is Omar Graham. A little bit with DeMarco Ward. He's young. He's a linebacker. I'm actually surprised there. But I know some people are upset about Destin Hill, Marvin Jones Jr. That's basically it. I would think if you look at the guys, they've cut bait with a tremendous amount of dead weight. But Omar Graham looked like he shouldn't even be a college football player the first 3 games of the year. He significantly improved. And he became their best linebacker late in the season. So they do get him back. But again, the blueprint says that's not necessarily a good thing because of what Lundy, Payton, and Jackson did 1 season ago. All right, come on by and say hello. Folks picking up Miller Lite swag. Also enjoying Miller Lite $3 pints here at the Bricks, 3rd Street at the beach. You can also register to win tickets for the game on Sunday between the Jaguars and the Jets. Coming up next, let's talk with Daniel Griffiths. We'll get the very latest, some data on the Jacksonville Jaguars. That on the other side.
Sideline to sideline.
That's a bad boy.
Goal line to goal line.
On best, here we go.
The best defense is a superior fence. Each week, Superior Fence and Rail presents the Defensive Player of the Game on 1010XL.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. The sportsbook for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour. 7 days a week. You heard right. Every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
Integrity, persistence, and standing up for victims. It's what you want in a personal injury case and what my friend and lawyer Glenn Cohen brings to every case for over 40 years. Call Glenn at Barnes & Cohen.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Visionaries, builders, and doers. Are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project.
His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Jeff Norman.
And I'm Mike Jones.
And we are the owners of Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
With the holiday season upon us, we want to take a moment to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and say thank you to our amazing customers.
We're so grateful for the trust you place in us each year. It's been a pleasure serving you, and we hope you have a wonderful holiday season with family and friends.
And remember, if you have any issues, we'll be here to help throughout the holidays and beyond.
Merry Christmas from all of us at Duck Duck Rooter.
Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Prosser here, and the Fed has dropped the rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low 5s for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6%, or if you're in the process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000, lower rates and lower fees. So get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. It's Loan Pronto. Call them at 904-999-1508, or you can visit loanpronto.com. That's Loan Pronto at 904-999-1508, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
For 79 years, each Gator Bowl game wrote a chapter in a story filled with excitement, celebrity, and a touch of drama. The game has seen iconic coaches like Bear Bryant, Vince Dooley, and of course, Bobby Bowden. Football stars like Larry Zonka, Archie and Peyton Manning, and Michael Vick. The 80th chapter features Duke and number 14 Ole Miss. Thursday, January 2nd in primetime on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Tickets on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
This holiday season, give the gift of team spirit with FOCO. Apparel, headwear, home decor, and more. Use code 1010XL15 at checkout for 15% off. FOCO ships fast for the holidays. Head to FOCO.com/1010XL.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
All right, we're live from the Bricks. Miller Lite sponsoring our party. What a lot of fun it has been. $3 Miller Lite pints continue. I mean, where else would you rather be? We also have Miller Lite swag, some cool hats here, and some beer koozies, among other things. And, of course, you can register to win seats. Couple of tickets, which we'll draw coming up here in just a few moments. The Jaguars and the Jets. That'll be Sunday at 1 o'clock. We'll have all the pregame for you, in-game, post-game, right here on your home of the Jaguars, 92.5 on the FM. Let's bring in the data guy, Daniel Griffiths. Always a lot of fun to talk about the Jaguars and some key numbers. Daniel, how you been?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Doing quite well.
Yeah, I first of all, I've been yelling about it all year. This team cannot score in the first quarter. This team cannot score during their opening drive. Do you have any – I mean, the numbers are so bad there may not be any data that explains that. But do you have anything that you've been able to see as to what is so mystifying as to why week after week after week – 15 minutes in, this team can't do anything?
I looked into it earlier in the season. I haven't updated it myself, but I know that through quarters 2, 3, and 4, several weeks back now, the Jaguars were outgaining opponents yardage-wise. If you excluded the first quarter, I'm not sure where that stands now. It certainly doesn't help that Trevor Lawrence isn't at quarterback, but it's been a season-long problem, and it just feels like the defense isn't playing well enough for the offense to constantly be playing catch-up because they can't score.
Today, Garrett Bowles signed, and a lot of people thought that if Walker Little was able to test free agent waters, the Jaguars would go after Garrett Bowles, if not address this in the first round in the April draft. Since Walker Little has replaced Cam Robinson and has been the starter for the Jaguars, how is he graded out as far as your data?
So Little is one of just 2 left tackles in the NFL to allow 1 or fewer sacks this season. The other, Garrett Bowles. So he's allowed a 5.8% pressure rate this season, the 4th lowest among left tackles. So he's playing really well since he stepped in for Cam Robinson. And the Jaguars, it looks like they have their future at left tackle and at right tackle. So that's something to really look forward to. Ezra Cleveland's played well this season. So the Jaguars' offensive line in general has given up the 5th least pressure this season.
Have they really?
Yes. It certainly helps that the Jaguars get the ball out faster than most teams. But the offensive line, pass blocking wise, has played pretty well.
Now, the last time we talked, Anton Harrison did not get off to the best start. He didn't have great numbers during the 0-4, but his play had gotten better. What about since that conversation, over the last 8 or 9 weeks? How has Anton Harrison progressed?
For the season, he's worked his way to about league average in terms of pressures allowed. It started out really, really rough, though. So the last, second half of the season, since week 5, week 6, he's really been playing pretty solid for the Jags.
Daniel Griffiths, our guest, joining us. He is the data guy, taking a look at the Jaguars and some key numbers. All right, you had on Twitter, which I thought was really interesting, as a team, Jacksonville ranks last with just 39% of contested targets caught. I feel like this has always been somewhat of a problem. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this hasn't improved even with the addition of Brian Thomas Jr.
No, it certainly doesn't help that your supposed jump ball, big play guy, Gabe Davis, isn't playing. He didn't play great when he was there, but it certainly does not help that he's now injured as well. The Jaguars run a lot of routes that kind of favor contested catches. I was looking at it earlier. I'm reading a book. Bobby Peters puts out a couple books, offensive manuals for different teams each year. And mesh concepts and crossers have always been such a big thing in the Doug Peters offense. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go and look at that because, there's more than one way to use speed. Brian Thomas Jr. is one of the fastest NFL receivers. And, we saw that 56-yard crosser against Houston, and I wanted to look to see, how much crossers they're using this season. In 2022, they ran crossers at about 14% of their routes. This season, it's 8.3.
Wow.
It's a 40% dip.
Wow.
They're below league average. They used to be well above league average.
Wow.
So, you can create separation in more ways than just verticality. And I feel as though that's doing, Brian Thomas and Parker Washington a disservice there to create some separation so they don't have to make contested catches.
Daniel, I don't know if you're able to find this information, but, we talked about how bad they are in the first quarter where it's scripted plays. When I described it as kind of the helter-skelter offense late. I mean, the last 2 weeks, Mac Jones, 3 touchdown passes and a field goal during very late fourth quarter drives. Has there been anything route-wise or play-wise that has stood out as to why Jacksonville is successful when they go to the hurry-up, no-huddle?
It certainly helps when you target Brian Thomas Jr., which they didn't really do until the fourth quarter last week.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. A few games this year. I look at the Eagles game. I look at the Vikings game where it just they just don't throw to Brian Thomas Jr. until the second half. Or don't target him. And I'm curious, if you want to talk about scripted plays, you should be able to script some plays to your best offensive weapon. Whether it's, we've seen a couple of jet sweeps from him and screens, but I'd like to see a lot more, especially early in games, to get your offense going.
Last year, a disturbing trend was, I want to say, 25% of the carries by backs in 2023, they were met at the line of scrimmage or before the line of scrimmage. Also last year, even though the average per carry dropped significantly for Travis Etienne, he still led the NFL in yards after being hit, yards after tackles. How have those numbers evolved this year with Tank Bigsby, 18 carries to 4 this past week, getting far more opportunities than Etienne?
Yeah, in terms of creating yards, Tank Bigsby this entire season has kind of outpaced Etienne. The Jaguars' run blocking is still not great. They're bottom 5 in the league in yards before contact per attempt. It's certainly better than last year. The addition of Mitch Morse at center certainly helps. But a lot of the Jaguars' run data right now is being propped up by some of those early season big runs from Tank Bigsby, and it's been on the downslope since.
Ventrell Miller only got 18 snaps on Sunday. I was really surprised. I think he's been playing some good football. I was wondering if maybe he hit that rookie wall or what the situation was. With your data, how was he matched up, comparing him to Lloyd or a Lulikon?
Yeah, so he's played about 49% of snaps this season. And this past week was the least amount of snaps he'd seen since week 2, before we'd ever really seen him play. He's got the second most defensive stops on the team. Behind the only one above him is Devin Lloyd. He's got 41 defensive stops, which is accounted as a negative for the offense. So he's and by that metric, he's outpacing Foye Lulikon. I really think that all three are really good players. The Jaguars emphasized that they wanted to rotate more at linebacker, and then strangely this past week kind of went away from that. Ventrell Miller was seeing between 50 and 48 and 60% snap count time, and that dropped strangely this week. So I'm curious if that's going to be something going forward, where they focus more on Devin Lloyd and Foye Lulikon, or if that's maybe that was just against the Titans.
Final couple of minutes with Daniel Griffiths joining us. He is the data guy. We're live from the Bricks, $3 Miller Lite Pints. If you want to come on by, register to win tickets for the game on Sunday between the Jaguars and the Jets. Again, at the Bricks here on 3rd Street at the beach. You had some interesting numbers on both Tyson Campbell and on Trayvon Walker. Let's begin with Walker. He's actually getting chipped more this year than just about 5 or 6 defensive ends in the NFL, but more than Josh Hines-Allen.
Yeah, I think that his physicality and especially run defense helps him out there. He's 8th among edge players, and that list is a really good list. That's the list you want to be on. T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, Parsons. And it's also, he's played as well as we could have hoped when the Jaguars drafted him number 1 overall. He's not Aiden Hutchinson. All Jaguars fans and the Jaguars front office, I'm sure, wish he was. But he's turned into a really, really good football player. And I'm really happy to see how well he's developed. He's 13th in sacks if you total last season and this season. Josh Hines-Allen is 5th. So of the top 13 players that have the most sacks in the NFL the last 2 seasons, Jaguars have 2 of the top 13. Trayvon Walker's consistently in the top 10 for ESPN's run stop metric as well at his position.
Tyson Campbell's had a really good year. I mean, I'm looking at his lockdown percentage, and again, I'm kind of learning this on the fly. To a lot of football fans, Daniel, I think this is new. Even for longtime fans like myself, but kind of take us through that. 58.33 as far as a lockdown percentage corner. What does that mean?
Yeah, so the goal is you could have a bad coverage play at corner, and if the quarterback doesn't throw your way, then it's not going to look negatively upon you. So it kind of tries to look at all of your coverage snaps and put a much more give fans a bigger context to how well the corner is doing, regardless of whether or not the receiver that the corner or safety is covering is targeted. So that's kind of the point that PFF is trying to look at. So it's looking at all snaps, all routes. And Tyson Campbell's allowing the seventh least amount of separation at his position. So he's playing really, really well. He had one tough game against, I'm blanking on who it was, Detroit. Amon-Ra, St. Brown gave him some problems. But otherwise, yeah, he's been fantastic. You look at his game against Minnesota, covering Justin Jefferson, had that really nice play that ended up getting picked by Foye Oluokun. And he had some nice plays this past weekend as well.
As we wrap things up, let's begin with the worst and we'll go to the best. What is the worst as far as the data that really comes into play that describes why this team is 3-10? What is their worst dimension?
Yeah, excluding the quarterback health, I look at the pass rush. The Jaguars have Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen, and I just mentioned that both of them are in the top 15 for sacks the last two seasons, and yet the Jaguars are 31st in pass rush pressure rate. And it's mind-boggling. They're 32nd in blitz percentage. You signed Eric Armstead and aren't getting that much out of him. They have recently been playing him more at defensive tackle than they had previously in the year, so I'm interested to see how that changes over the course of his contract. Mm-hmm. But, you've got Mason Smith getting more snaps at defensive tackle than anybody else the last 2 weeks. Hopefully we can see something bright from him to finish off the year. But, yeah, I had really high expectations for the defensive line going into this season, and I've been disappointed outside of Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen.
How has Mason? I know he has, considerable amount of snaps the last 2 weeks. How's he played?
I thought he's played pretty well. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of data for defensive tackles outside of pressure rate. Okay. Run defense is such a huge part of the position, and that the data world hasn't caught up to the NFL in terms of run data. But it's the defense as a whole has played really well, and I think that Mason Smith being in there certainly helped out the unit.
All right, what about the best for the 3-10 Jaguars?
It's got to be Brian Thomas Jr., right? Yeah. This guy's incredible. He's got 7 games now of 75 or more yards, the most among rookies. He's playing as well as any receiver that is not named Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in the NFL right now. And if the Jaguars still had Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, or the Jaguars could get their offensive going, the sky's the limit for Brian Thomas Jr. I want to give also props to Jerry Jones. I think that he's played incredible this season, especially for a mid-round rookie. I liked him coming out, and he's given me all the more reason to like him this season.
Yeah. All right, Daniel, we'll do it again. I know that, a need for another wide receiver is going to be there. You're going to hear talk about another corner and certainly some defensive line help, some safety help. But I've been a big stickler about this offensive line. They need to get better. Ezra's going to return. You got Morris there for one more year, perhaps. Right guard's going to open up. Just overall, that interior offensive line, how much of a need is that in your opinion? You said they've done well in pass protection. What about on the ground as far as running the football in the interior?
Yeah, they haven't done too well, especially the third and short is still a problem that ails the Jaguars. And I'm not sure, Brandon Scherf and Mitch Morse are getting a little long in the tooth nowadays. You may want to look to at least replace one of them this offseason, or at least find their future replacement. Will Campbell He's a tackle for LSU. He might be someone that you look at early in the draft and maybe slide him inside. People have concerns about his arm length, so that might be a guy that you look at in the draft if you decide to go that direction. There's also a bunch of good corners and receivers. But I think that the Jaguars definitely need to look at the very least, finding a future replacement for either Mitch Morse or Brandon Scherf in this offseason.
He is the sports data guy. You can get him on X or Twitter at Dan D. Griffiths. Always a pleasure, Dan. Merry Christmas to you and your family. We'll talk again soon.
You as well. Happy holidays.
There he goes. Daniel Griffiths, giving us the very latest. I like to do this like once a month or so with him, just to kind of, open up whatever it may be, because it's such a important part of today's football. It's trying to study these analytics. I honestly don't know everything that goes into it, and I'm not going to act as though I do. I still trust my eyes and trust my ears, and what I mean by ears is people that I do talk with, but this is a big part of it, analytically speaking. All right, we got much more to do. I'm going to be with you till 8 o'clock tonight, then Hacker Nation is going to join you. We're at the Bricks. If you'd like to come on by, we're here till 8 o'clock. We still have $3 Miller Lite pints. We still have Miller Lite swag, and you can register to win tickets for the game on Sunday between the Jaguars and the Jets. All of that compliments of Miller Lite. We are here at the Bricks, 3rd Street at the beach.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus, and I give you a window into what it's like on the field wearing black and teal. Catch my stories and analysis, thanks to renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors, every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on 1010 XL.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Homemade cookies baked fresh by Jen. Original 80s band named Ice Creams by Ray. Build your own cookie ice cream sandwiches from scratch. Cookies and cream Jack's Beach. Open till 11 Friday and Saturday, 10 weekdays. Making our beach a better place. Cookies and cream Jack's Beach.
Yo, what's happening, sports bettors? It's your boy E to the T, and our listeners have been killing it in a year full of surprises. MyBookie is the one book that got your back. No fluff, no second guessing, just straight up action. Does other sports books pay out when you push on a bet? MyBookie pays you back. And if you're new to the game and not sure where to start, we've got you covered. Start up, use the promo code 1010XL, and that'll double your bankroll with a 100% deposit bonus right from jump. Here's a pro tip to get you rolling. The NFL teams with powerhouse offensive lines are dominating the run game this year, and betting game total unders has been printing money. So stack that on MyBookie Risk-Free Thursdays. That's right. There's a new risk-free odds boost every Thursday. To find the bet, click the Bet Boost tab and scroll down. If it hits, you win. If it doesn't, MyBookie refunds you your money. Sign up and get that double deposit bonus with MyBookie. That's the best sign-up bonus in Florida for Florida bettors. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
It's the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer, including Sporting Jacks bringing pro men's and women's soccer to Jacksonville. Tuesday nights at 6 on 1010 a.m.
Hey, I'm Ben Kay, owner of Gotham City Limit, your local comic shop, here to let you know we're doing 20% off the entire store, now through Christmas. So unleash your gift-giving spirit, let your passion transmit. Do what we do and take it to the limit. Visit GothamCityLimit.com for more information.
This is Corona Premier. It's the light beer you didn't know was a light beer. Until right, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Now, Corona Premier, and unexpectedly light beer.
Jeff Lagerman here. Now that football season is here, make sure your ride can get to that tailgate or away game safely and dependably. You can trust the ASE certified professionals at any of the 27 independently owned Napa Auto Care Centers and the quality Napa parts they use. Napa Auto Care Centers can handle everything: oil changes, air conditioning, brakes, engines, transmissions, and more. Napa Auto Care offers a nationwide 24-month, 24,000-mile peace-of-mind warranty on most repairs. Find a Napa Auto Care Center near you. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Why do you choose Farah and Farah? First, we have the financial resources to take on any insurance company. And our track record proves that we know how to win. Our attorneys and staff are a team, and we've worked together for decades. To us, our job is much more than just a paycheck. We love to help. And this is important. We never forget. It's not about us. It's all about you. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality product. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Ballou for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Hackers don't take the holidays off. Do you know if your data is safe? One attack could mean financial losses and damaged trust. DoubleCheck Cybersecurity protects your business 24/7 with AI-enhanced solutions. Stay secure. Visit doublecheck.com today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
Well, that's all about Evan Ingram. Didn't work again today. Consecutive days now with that shoulder injury. So he did not practice on Wednesday. He didn't practice on Thursday. Will he go tomorrow? Well, I'll let you know. Injury report comes out right around the time I go on the air. So we'll have that for you tomorrow night, 6 to 8 on a Friday. Jacksonville is a relatively healthy football team. You got a couple of knees for your guards, right? As for Cleveland, the knee, he's been limited Wednesday and Thursday as well. On the other side, Brandon Sheriff battling a knee and a shoulder, but same deal. He has been limited both Thursday and yesterday on Wednesday. So relatively healthy. 3 guys there all on offense. And, you know, we'll see what does take place. We are at the Bricks, by the way. You can still come by. We got about 20 minutes remaining until 8 o'clock if you'd like to register for tickets for this game coming up on Sunday. Compliments of Miller Lite. Still have Miller Lite $3 pints. Okay, Miller Lite swag. We're at the Bricks, which is on 3rd Street here at the beach if you'd like to come by. With Daniel Griffiths, who we just talked about, data-wise, you know, I see all these mock drafts, and I hate that we're there. You know, we're 133 days away from the draft. I hate that we're there, but let's be honest. We've been there since November 1st. Okay, this football team gave you nothing this year. As far as your excitement with the fan base, they dropped a 0-4 on you. That was their thank you to you. We're going to come out and just take your dreams and say screw you to them to begin the year with a 0-4. And then they dropped the 2-10. Okay, now they're winning games, and it's like, well, do you really want them to win? Well, that's a mixed crowd. Some say yeah, some say no. Anyway, my point is this. All these mock drafts are popping up. I see Will Johnson going to the Jaguars at 8. Right now, they went from 1 to 5 with their victory this past Sunday against Tennessee. The latest from ESPN has them winning more games because it doesn't have them drafting first. It doesn't even have them drafting 5th. It has them drafting 8th, okay? And getting the corner out of Michigan, who's a very good football player, in Will Johnson. This is where I'm going to argue, all right? And I think that Trent Baalke, who I still believe is going to be in charge of this draft coming up in April. I do. And the Jaguars have a lot of money. They're not salary cap strapped. This organization can afford to go out and get some really good football players in free agency before the draft. And let's hope it's better than what they brought in this year. This has been a terrible free agency class. Okay, Mitch Morse, solid grade there. Outside of it, what are you going to grade Gabe Davis? What are you going to grade Eric Armstead? What are you going to grade Ronald Darby? What are you going to grade Devin Duvernay? They're not good grades. They're D's or F's, in my opinion. But I said this years ago when you invested in Trevor Lawrence. You can't fix everything at once. Every team in the NFL is flawed. Every team in the NFL has holes. Jacksonville needs to put all of its attention on offense. And if you get beat 33-30, okay, you lick your wounds. But you can't win games 10-6, and you can't lose games 12-7, and this is absurd. You can't continue to go through the first quarter where you're among the lowest scoring teams in the NFL. You average just over 2 points in the first 15 minutes of play, and you just are asleep at the wheel as the game begins. You can't fix it all. Your investment has to be on offense. You have a quarterback. You have 2 running backs. You have 2 tight ends. You have 2 tackles. You have 2 wide receivers. Unfortunately, a third is still going to be contractually here in Gabe Davis. He's not part of it, but he will be forced to be a part of it. I think he's your number 4 wide receiver. You have a true number 1 in Brian Thomas Jr. Get yourself a number 2. Parker Washington's a slot guy. He's your 3. Get a number 2. Can you get one in free agency? If not, I don't address this in the first round at wide receiver because I think the most important move this team has to make is to help out that interior offensive line. Ezra Cleveland has 1 year left, tops. Mitch Morse has 1 year left, tops. Brandon Sheriff is an aging free agent who's got 4 games remaining in his career, and he's gone. Your tackles are set. You still have to take a look at left guard, center, and especially immediately this year, the right guard. But I think I know the way that you feel because I've been around for a while and I listen to you. Okay, unlike some hosts or members of the media, I actually listen to what you say, and I can feel it. Get a corner, get a safety, get a defensive tackle, right? That's what you're going to tell me. And I'm here to say no, 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 no. Use your funds. Use your money. Draft offense, okay? Interior offensive lineman. A wide receiver. If you want to get a wide receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round, you can find a very good number 2 wide receiver. You have your number 1. Start targeting him more. I mean, even in the victory on Sunday, there were only 3 targets to Brian Thomas Jr. in the first half. That makes no sense. I mean, that's coaching. And you've been around some really, really bad coaching this year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we won't do any more of that. tonight because we're running out of time, but certainly in the days and the weeks and the months to come, that is going to be where our attention does turn. Free agency followed up by the NFL draft. And Jacksonville has great draft capital, and they also have plenty of money to spend. All right? I'm with you. They do need a corner. Okay? I understand that. And that's going to be pricey. That is maybe the one exception that I would make fairly early. But let's just say your top 3 moves, whether they're free agency or the draft, right? First round, second round, and let's say your top free agent move. To me, you have to address interior offensive line and wide receiver above corner. And I know a lot of you will argue with me on that, but that is my opinion, and I'm going to stick with that until something changes right in front of my eyes. All right, that's going to do it, man. Been a lot of fun here tonight at the Bricks. Always a great place out here at the beach. Again, a little bit chilly tonight, so we were forced to move inside, but it was still a really good time. Do want to thank Tim Brando. Do want to thank the Philly Godfather. Want to thank Daniel Griffiths as well for joining us. Place is really fired up right now. A lot of good people here, and they're enjoying $3 Miller Lights. Pints, that is. And we're going to announce right now, once we get off air, who won the tickets for the game between the Jaguars and the Jets. Again, that is compliments of Miller Lite as well. Thank you to Dylan Denmark, John O'Leary. My name is Rick Ballou. We'll be back at it Wednesday. I'll make that Friday night, tomorrow night, 6 to 8. One quick note. I didn't respond to any of you folks tonight on the text line because I didn't have it. I always do or try to. That'll be the deal coming up tomorrow night when we're with you again, 6 to 8. I'll have the text line back as well. Hacker joins you now. I'm Rick Ballou. We'll talk tomorrow at 6.